Hello, welcome back. How's everyone doing out there? Well, I can't hear you, but type in the chat, the routine. It's been a while, I've been busy, but I'm glad to do this live stream to offer you something kind of different today. So please feel free to type in the chat where you are, who you are, rather, where you're at. I'm going to go ahead and get started on this topic by loading up this, and you can grab it too if you haven't already. I just wrote this out today just for this live stream and for my members on Patreon. I've kind of did a preview lesson on this topic. It's called Two Notes Per String Scales. It's, of course, a very guitaristic topic. So if you don't play the guitar, you probably don't care too much about this. But it works great for the ukulele too. You're just going to be using the top four strings. Bass players can use it too. You hear a lot of guitar players talk about 3 notes per string, even 4 notes per string. It kind of does make a difference technically how you play scales. So I've been messing around with these 2 note per strings because, well, guitar players love this scale, the minor pentatonic. And of course, I always tell all my students and Patreon members, of course, you master your 5 positions of the major pentatonic, and that stuff you can grab, and you can look at my previous posts and live streams just on pentatonics. So with that in mind, if I fast forward down here to this sound slice practice video, and it's a PDF, again, you can grab the tabs in the description. So this is I wrote it out here, everything's starting on C. This is going through all 6 strings. All of these scales, except for the half full diminished because of the formula, we ran out of strings with this particular scale, and there's no chromatic scale too, because that's just a little bit being ridiculous. But check out my master scale syllabus if you are not familiar with the chromatic scale fingerings. So all of these scales otherwise are just 2 note per strings, and I think this is kind of a fascinating topic, and the fact that nobody talks about it is interesting too, at least that I haven't seen. You can feel free to, link a post, post a link rather of somebody else's lessons on 2 notes per string. Okay, this concept. So again, we love the major pentatonic and the minor pentatonic. We love that scale as 2 notes per string. So here it is on C. This is C major penta. And I'm just going to show you that here because that's written here, C major penta. And it's just in the position. You hopefully already know that. And that's right here if you want to see it here. Okay, and of course go descending too. Just to save time, I didn't write a descending and ascending, but these two you want to practice descending. So that's kind of the parental form, the scale form that you already probably know. And in the minor penta, you definitely know. I hope. We love these 2 note per strings. There's something really special about playing 2 note per strings. It picking wise and just lick wise. And our brain, I think, can manage keeping track of 2 notes instead of 3 notes. That's what I kind of think it's easier to remember, to recall 2 notes per strings versus 3 notes. So some of these fingerings are really nice, and that's probably why everybody can memorize their 5 positions of the pentatonic. But people have a harder time memorizing the modes in the harmonic minor, melodic minor, and other scales for that matter, what they often call exotic scales. So the whole tone scale, however, I wanted to point this out. The whole tone scale is another scale that lays really well on 2 notes per string. It's symmetrical. So if you do 2 notes, this is the full scale, by the way. You might have already done this one. There's a lot of cool things that you'll learn by doing this lesson, going through this, and learning your formulas and thinking about this. Like you'll say, oh, this, I'm thinking root, third, sharp 5, root, third, sharp 5. as an outline as you cross over strings. So many of you on Patreon have already watched my preview lesson of this. I talk about that. I say root for the major scale. I say root, third, fifth, 7, 9, 11. 11's the 4. If you're doing the Ionian mode, this is all off the root of C, by the way. And if this is too much for you, I would suggest just take it on the top 4 strings of the guitar, or just the lower 4 strings. Just group it into smaller chunks. So in that case, like C being here, and this is kind of how it came about for me. It's just doing these triad embellishments, and then going through the upper neighbor tones and the saying, oh, I could just connect the triad by going the C triad, major triad, and then going whole step above, half step above, whole step above, and then not just to the C here, but going to the 7, because you got to go every other note for the major scales and its modes. So I thought, ooh, I like that. I like that fingering a lot. So why not apply it to all 6 strings? That's how it all came about. But it's really a fun way you could do these, like I'm doing there. I'm doing some embellishments, but I'm thinking 2 notes per string. It's not like you just have to do a run that's only 2 notes, scale run. You're just kind of visualizing and just playing. You can groove off of 2 strings, if you want. And that's the concept. So let's go ahead and talk about this. I'm going to check the comments to see if anybody's checking this out. Maybe this is not a popular topic. In that case, I'll keep the lesson really condensed, but I'll go through this just because I promised I would to my Patreon members. And if you are a Patreon member, of course, thanks for being a Patreon member, keeping my community going. It's been great, and it's growing. So thank you so much for being on Patreon. So again, there's a lot of good reasons to learn these. It's going to open up the whole fretboard to you. You're going to think about it in a different way than just memorizing patterns, scale patterns. You got to know your formulas. So Ionian, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What does that mean to us? Here's C, 1, and here's 3, here's 5, and here's 7. Again, I'm kind of showing you how I'm thinking of it. And then the 2, and then the 11th, 4. So by visualizing those notes across all 6 strings, you're going to add the next tone above it. So it's going to look like this: C to D, E to F. I'm just yelling the notes: G to A, B, C, D, E, and then F, G. And of course, you go backwards: G, F, E, D, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, and D, C. I didn't write it descending. So spend a minute and just go through this with me nice and slow. But what I do recommend is that you only do the first finger as kind of your guide. And it's actually, this is another good reason, is that it helps eliminate what finger do I use. You're probably going to start with your first finger only on these, just for if you're running up and down scale. However, if you're jamming, you might actually use other fingers. But for the sake of running through the scale, I'm actually just doing this, just to guide me. So again, I'm just going up the major scale and down it from the root to the fifth up an octave, okay? Okay, and then descending. Don't ask me what finger to use. You got to figure that out, because everybody's going to be different. You can do a la Django if you want. I'm not even going to go there with fingering, because again, everybody will have a different sense of fingering. So again, the concept really is 2 notes per string, and then by understanding your formulas, then you can navigate through all of these. And again, what I recommended on that bonus video lesson that I posted the other day when I was working through this was learn the Ionian, Lydian, and Mixolydian first, okay? And that requires that you learn your formulas. Those are the 1, 4, and 5 in the key. Those are your 3 major type of modes. So again, there's a lot of theory involved here for sure. And then learn your minor modes: Dorian, Phrygian, and Aeolian. Okay, that's going to be what's important. Then Locrian last, the half diminished. And then, of course, your major penta, minor penta. Then you could even do the blues, 2 notes per string. And you could do minor blues, and you could do harmonic minor. There's, again, and the whole tone I already showed you. The diminished one's really interesting because it outlines the half whole diminished scale, because you're outlining the diminished arpeggio. And then here I did have 2 notes per string, but then you go half step above that. So you kind of get some, cool licks just by doing that stuff. And that's, I guess, kind of what it's about too. Just a new way of improvising, limiting yourself to 2 notes per string. Sometimes I love to play these type of games where I'm only staying on two strings, or whatever, just whatever it takes to kind of limit myself to come up with new ideas. I try to find these kind of systems or approaches and methods. Versus just playing licks. But of course, you're going to come up with your own licks from this. So as I mentioned, start off with Ionian. I'm just going to go through this. This won't be a long lesson, I promise. This is more of an overview, even though it's already on Patreon, the overview. But let's go through all the modes together. Now, Lydian, hopefully you know, I got to raise my fourth. So it's still going to be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, but it's going to be a sharp 4, sharp 11. So that's going to be the note. So we got to. So again, I'm right here. This is in the key of G, by the way. You got to know that C Lydian is a fourth mode of G. So get this sound. And they're whole step and a whole step, which is neat. And then another whole step here. One. So you have this. Again, this is kind of about playing fast. Usually I don't talk about that stuff, but it's kind of neat to be able to play your scales a little bit faster with this method. 2 notes per string. Okay. So, but let's walk this one slowly here. You got the root, the 1 and 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you might just stop there and just go 1 octave. And that would be a C major 7 sharp 11 chord. If you're playing jazz, if you were thinking kind of more rock, you might just do a D triad with a C in the bass, which is a D7 inversion, but it sounds more like Lydian because the power of the bass. And I'm doing a lot of these slurs. I love that. You get double pick. So again, that's C Lydian. Spend time, do this. Take your loop pedal and jam, create a Lydian chord progression, like I was just showing you the chords that you can use there. Mixolydian here, we're going to flat the 7 from the major scale. So let's talk about that. Here's that same concept, 1, 3, 5. And then instead of the major 7, we want to flat that. So you're going to have a flat 7 here. We're still going tertian, meaning in thirds, every other note. And then the 9, and then the 11, natural 11, not sharp 11. That'd be, if you were to do that, you'd have a mode of the melodic minor called the Lydian dominant. So we want this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 8. And that's 1 octave. And it does require this lateral shifting, different from going this way up the fretboard. It's really unique. But I think you might hopefully enjoy it and explore it and get some new ideas. It's been helping me get some new ideas lately. Let's finish it. So I got this is Mixolydian. You swing it. Have fun with that. So those are the 3 major type of modes: Ionian, Lydian, and Mixolydian, 1, 4, 5 respectively. Let's go ahead and go through the minor modes. I'll make this quick, I know. Like I said, it'll be a short lesson today. Again, this is also really helps you reinforce your mode formulas by thinking this, okay? So 1, this is C Dorian. That's the 2, the second mode of B flat major. Okay, so, but the formula is what's important. You got the 1, you got the flat 3, you got the 5, you got the flat 7, you got the 9, and the 11. Very, very beautiful. Jazzy, right? So we have the 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, or 6, not flat 6, that'd be Aeolian. The natural 6, flat 7, 8, and then continues. And again, you can do all your little grand greenisms if you're a jazz player. But again, it doesn't matter if you're playing jazz or rock. So we have 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 8. And going up 9, flat 3, 11, and the 5. Okay. Phrygian, if you don't know that scale, it's very unique. Very kind of darker, be it of a minor mode. You have a flat 2 and a flat 6 and a flat 3, of course, because it's minor. So let's talk about this 1, flat 2. Right away, get the half step. 1, 2, flat 3, 4. And again, just have fun. Just put on a loop pedal and just explore this. There's your 5 and your flat 6 there. That's why Phrygian's so dark. Again, typically most people play Phrygian like this, but it's a different fingering to do the 2-note per strings. So just to try it out before you dismiss it. Try out something new. Not one way is better. I think it'll yield some new licks and ideas and fretboard visualization that you might not have thought about. Flat 7 to 8 there to finish it there. So we had the 5, the flat 6. Just kind of play around these C notes, triplets. Okay, so, and then let's finish it out here. Notice the flat 2, the flat 3, the 4, and the 5. And I'm making a Phrygian by going C minor, which is C Phrygian. By the way, type in the comments. C Phrygian, what key are we in? What's the big picture? What key? That's how you know what chords to use if you're doing modal style jamming. Now I'm looking at the comments. Oh, Dave, you're here. Are you the only person? Usually I have more Daves. Well, thanks, Dave, for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hopefully this is shedding some light on some new concepts, new fretboard concepts. And again, I have all the modes and stuff right now in position. I like position playing, and I highly recommend that. This is just something different. Okay, I'm not going to say it's better. So try it out. And it'll help you reinforce your formulas too, I promise. That for sure. But you'll also come up with some cool licks that you might not have thought about before. Concepts, licks, you know what I'm saying. All right, so let's get back to this. If anyone else wants to type in C Phrygian, what key is that? Well, here's how you figure that out. Phrygian is a third mode. So C is the third of what? C is here. So B flat would be the 2, A flat's the 1. So you're in the key of A flat major. So C minor is your Phrygian, your third chord. D flat major is your 4 chord, half step above the 3. So you just do this. It's a beautiful way to get a Phrygian sounding progression. Beautiful. So dark. Of course, you go up higher. I'm just going to stay in the key. That's how you create a modal progression. And keep your eyes right here. Play along with me here. Start on the root, the flat 3rd, the 5th, the flat 7, the flat 9, and then its extension. Two notes per string. Then you can go back to your normal position that you might already enjoy. but really it's going to open up some new ideas if you explore it, and if you know your formulas and understand how this works to make it go this way versus just that way. Okay, so again, what I recommend, you work on your three major type of modes first for this: Ionian, Lydian, Mixolydian, that you understand what changes, what one note changes essentially from the major scale. Sharp to 4, you got Lydian. Flat to 7, you got Mixolydian. And then for the Dorian, the three minor modes, Dorian, Phrygian, and now Aeolian. Aeolian has a flat 6. Okay, so it's a flat. All the minor modes have a flat 3, but it's the 2 and the 6 that makes the difference. So C Aeolian, what key are we in? Let's see who else is here in the comments besides Dave. Type in the comments what key. Oh, Graham joined in. Hey, good to see you. Oh, Graham's already on top of it. Good. C Aeolian, key of E flat. Wow, you're fast. All right. So key of E flat. I mean, again, why is that important? Just if you're jamming in E flat, you can bust out the C Aeolian scale. I mean, it's all the same 7 notes, right? So here it is. C Aeolian. You want to go 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, and then 9, natural 9, not flat 9 like the Phrygian, and 11. So use your first finger as your guide. And again, right here, this, you're gonna see like, oh, I have this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Beautiful. These thirds. A la Barney Kessel, if you're a jazz player, do these beautiful third style runs. So double stops is what I'm talking about here too. So there's a lot of value to this, not besides just the 2-note per string concept, is fretboard visualization, intervals. Do this first. You'll say, ooh, that's a B flat triad. Yeah, you bet. You got C minor, you have E flat, G minor, and B flat. There's a lot you can do with this. I'm kind of teaching about extending. Okay, if you're especially a jazz player, because we like those colors. So again, now when we do the scale, we're going to add in the note above it, right? So 1, 2, flat 3, 4, and again, look at the Aeolian mode right here. If you know, okay, if you're following along with me. And again, that'd be like, right? It must be some kind of way out of you. So we have 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 8. And I think that I just kind of thought about this. This helps you, again, go into position. A lot of my students work with me on this pentatonic like this. The sliding, I call it the sliding scale. When we go up this way, and it's a symmetrical fingering, it's actually really easy. This is not a symmetrical fingering, it's a little bit harder, but there's still, again, a lot of value in it. But we're going from this position, essentially. Yeah, I quoted Santana a little bit. And then we're going this way. And then again, if we're in the key of E flat major, then we can sing the G Phrygian mode, connect the different modes. That's the value of that. So again, I'm going to highly recommend, oh yeah, we got to do Locrian. Why not? C Locrian, what key are we in? Again, this is very important that you can immediately say D flat major, that you understand how modes relate to the parent key that you're in. So C Locrian 7 mode is in the key of D flat. So you have this 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, flat 5, and the flat 6. Let's just do that much again. Not this is a flat 5. So this is none of the other modes have a flat 5. Well, the Lydian has a sharp 4, but a natural 5. Just to be clear on the difference. So check it out. And that's a C minor 7 flat 5 chord, or just a C dim triad. If you want dark. But really, we're just in the key of D flat major. So it's all just relative. Yeah, everything's relative. So anyways, get the worksheet, the tabs, try it out, and I bet if you spend some time on this. I bet you'll come up with some new ideas. It's something that's a little bit different that many people I don't see talk about too often, besides, of course, the standard pentatonic, which you could just go on automatic because of the ease of the fingerings. And the whole tone scale too is also automatic because of the symmetrical fingerings. But these ones, the key to it, I'm going to go back to the Ionian mode for those that are tuning in here. The key to it is thinking in thirds, tertium, like this: root, third, fifth, 7, 9, and 11. And connect it like this. Just take your time. I mean, I'm showing you something that's not 2 notes per string, but what we can extract from this is very, very valuable, if not even more valuable than a two note per string concept, right? So this. It's a whole nother lick right there. But then when we add on the scale tone above each one of those notes, hey everybody, thanks for joining me on this lesson. Be sure to grab the PDF. And if you're not a Patreon member, please join my online music community. And we'll see you all next time. Thanks so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.